The Express.
Welcome back to the Express podcast. We discussed the semifinal playoff games and how we were so wrong in our predictions last week. This national championship game has a lot of variables and things that can dictate who wins this one. We're excited to break down our thoughts on this matchup, and with that, some extra bonus coverage on our very own Macen Howells, talking through his high school quarterback experience. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Express. We're here to talk about college football national championship, and just as a disclaimer, we just want to go ahead and own up to it.
We were wrong.
How wrong we were about last week.
Except for Mitchell.
I don't
Except
think
for
I was that
Mitchell.
wrong, bro.
Mitchell had a good week.
Mitchell had a good week.
50%.
But I was hesitant about the Michigan-Bama
You
one,
I
too.
You
was
were.
not. Neither. I don't
Yeah.
really think you were.
I think in the back of my mind, I was worried.
I'm pretty sure Dansby
But-
said Bama was going to whoop that tail.
No, I think Mason said that.
I did.
That
say
was just Michigan hate coming out. That's
But everything that I said that I was worried about, I think came to fruition. They couldn't throw the deep ball. They couldn't block up front. I feel like schematically, it was a little
couldn't snap.
challenging for Alabama to understand what they were trying to do defensively.
Michigan did some good things.
They did. I feel like they were running a little bit more of like an NFL-esque scheme in terms of like pre-snap and post-snap coverage and what things looked like. And I felt like they just made them think for a split second longer than they needed to. And just obviously Alabama wasn't able to pull it out even though they had chances to do so. And also, to be honest, I did not stay up for the other game.
No,
Boy,
I
it
went to
was
bed when they
cashed.
were up like Washington was up like 10. So just for the recap, for those who don't know, Texas lost to Washington 31-37, which I will say is close to my prediction of them needing 40 points. Michigan 27, Bama 20.
Overtime.
So that was an overtime.
see.
So that was more closer to, I think, y'all's prediction. So, but no, Michigan, their front seven is good.
Mm-hmm.
It did make me feel a little bit better about Ohio State, how they played them. But their front seven is good. Alabama just couldn't really like.
They never fully got
It
into
made
like
me
a
really
rhythm.
upset about how Georgia played Bama.
Well, I think the one
Or
thing.
is Michigan just like good? Like, or do we have to admit that now?
No, I never thought that they weren't good. But I don't think I think Alabama played their best game against Georgia.
I agree. And probably
And then-
one of their not so best games against Michigan.
Yeah.
But and that's what I think. And I think what Georgia made them do in the second half was like try and sustain a long drive. Because they didn't really score points in the second half other than the turnover and then towards the end when they put together that drive. But Michigan was going to make them like methodically move the ball down the field because they've been so used to like explosive plays, whether it's in the passing game or the run game, all year that they didn't allow them to do that. Like there weren't really many explosive plays, and you saw like they'd move the ball, and then as time would have it, it'd stall out because there'd be a false start, be a bad snap, there'd be something where they'd kind of
Shoot themselves in the foot,
self-inflicted wounds, weren't able to put the game away. But moving forward, I guess towards the game, I know Mace, you got some different stats and things lined up.
I got a lot going on. I know Mitch got to pull it up on his phone too. It's a very interesting game. I know just basics, a couple of things. Michigan is I don't know if it's a 4-point now, but when I was there, it was a 4-point favorite.
ESPN says 4.5.
So it's moved to 4.5. I know that Michigan is like in a lot of the projections and polls. So like on the Sports Illustrated poll, they ran approximately like I think 20,000 projections of what could possibly happen, and 74% of the time it came out that Michigan was winning, which that is kind of what it is. But I know that Michigan's favored to win. The points is 54.5. For the over-under. It may have moved
to 56.5.
so it's moved up. So it looks like they're predicting a pretty decent level of offense. So I kind of want to jump into that because you're talking about two different styles of offense.
Yeah.
Michigan is going to try to run the football.
Yeah.
And
Heavily.
And Washington is going to air it out. Now, we all know Michigan front seven, as we saw, is pretty good.
Yeah. But Washington does have they have the best O-line in
That's
college
right.
football.
They just won the award for the best O-line in college football, which is interesting. Penix obviously was putting balls on the dot.
He was those highlights were unbelievable. Like they were that's about as good of throws consistently for a whole game that I've seen out of a college quarterback in recent memory.
He put a lot of balls on the money.
Like, and I'm not talking just like 10-yard outs or slants. Like we're talking like
Drops
down
in a
the
bucket,
field,
25, 30 yards out.
Yeah, which that
Left
to me
again.
that's gonna be the interesting matchup. Is
Washington's
Can they
offense
protect?
reminds me of like Golden State's offense. Like live by the 3, die by the 3. It's
Yeah.
like live with Penix, drop passes in the bucket.
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely going to be like how well.
And he's done it.
Yeah, but I think the question is too, Washington's defense. Like, let's put it like this. Michigan's going to want to run the football. Now, Michigan played Washington, I think 2 years ago. And I want to say that Blake Corum had like a $178 on the ground. And now Michigan is going, like I said, they're going to want to run the football. Washington's defense is going to have to stop that. It's going to be kind of like the question we asked, can JJ win it? Which now it's kind of like, yes, because he had to lead that drive versus Alabama to tie it. So there's that. But a couple of things for you when you're looking at just the Washington rush defense. So they got the 10 worst run success rate. They give up a lot of yards on the ground.
Washington does.
Yeah.
like a bend don't break type thing.
Yeah, so if you're looking at their last like 2 games, Oregon in the Pac-12 title, they gave up 124 on the ground on 20 carries. Texas, they gave up 180 on 28 touches.
Yeah,
and so it's I think it's going to be a combination of, I think Michigan's going to run the football well, and can Washington's defense get those stops that are needed?
can they force field goals?
Yeah,
Basically,
can you force field goals, or can you get a couple turnovers maybe?
I feel like Michigan. Their mistakes came on special teams. They didn't really have mistakes on the offensive side.
No, because the first play got overturned.
Yeah, first play got overturned, and then they didn't really put the ball in harm's way after that.
No, they're
Other
kind
than
of like
some of the special teams stuff.
Special team
Which, going back to, I cannot believe that guy held onto the ball at the one when he botched that punt.
Saved the game.
He literally barely got possession as that guy hit him. I
Smoked
can't
him,
believe
too.
that it didn't like scored out for a safety or something.
Potentially a touchdown,
Something.
Bama touchdown.
What was the score at that time? Were they down?
2020, it was tied.
Oh, it was tied.
Yeah.
Dang. Because, he could have gotten a safety, or
The game would have probably been over.
probably, or he would
Because
have.
if it was a
then-
safety, they would have gotten the ball back. Alabama would have gotten the ball back and just been able to run out the
Ran it.
clock.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's
and
neither here nor
that
there.
was not their original punt returner. No.
no.
Yeah, because the other dude,
Other
they
dude
benched
muffed
that guy
it.
'cause
They benched it 'cause he
the
muffed.
I
first one.
understand that. Which I always say, and people quote this on me, special teams get you, they either win you a game or they get you beat. More than not, they will get you beat than win you the game. Just because the little details matter, whether it's
Field
a kickoff
position.
or a punt or, field position, especially in a big time game. Like I thought you saw Michigan a couple times elect a punt when maybe they could have gone for it just because they were playing field position. Because they're like, you're not going to probably
they're not going to drive the whole field.
Right.
entire field. And that's,
And if you do, props, but then you
Good-
got to do it
yeah.
again and again and again.
Yeah.
a 95-yard drive is tough.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter really who
Yeah,
you're
if we
playing
feel,
with.
And that's
or if,
trusting
or if
your
we feel
defense,
like
too, like-
we can get them 3 and out, or even make them punt from their own 20.
Now
We're getting
we
the
have
ball
the-
now at the 40, our own 40, as opposed to getting pinned back again. But
Yeah, it's kind of like when I got into the coordinating game, I would call my old head coach and we'd kind of talk like philosophy, stuff like that, just like little things. And he would always say, your number one goal when you get the ball is to get your first down, right? He said goal number 2 is get to the 50. If you can get to the 50, because then you can start dictating
you got
field
options.
positions.
Right.
Yeah, and you start kind of getting options. And so I'll be interested to see what happens in the Michigan-Washington game. I mean,
I don't think that their front seven is going to have their way with Washington as much as they did with Alabama, just because of the experience. I feel like that Washington's got more experience up front and at the quarterback position than Alabama did, because Alabama's relatively young
yeah,
on the offensive line and obviously at quarterback. I know he's a little bit older, but it was his first full year starting.
well, and I
So-
think Alabama, if you kind of look at it, I think they kind of have issues or had issues with something going on within the offensive line, or at least the offensive line room.
Passing off stunts.
Something,
and-
because
yeah.
you got to think like their starting center, who I told you that just transferred to Ohio State, he started all 14 games.
Yeah.
Like you don't like, why would you leave Alabama to go? You know what I mean? Like, you were just in the CFP. You're going to be good again next year. So what's kind of going on? And obviously he's got his own things of why he wants to do what he wants to do. And they may have brought in another guy and they're like, hey, we're going to move you to guard. And he has whatever. There's 1,000 things that could be going on.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of going to be interesting. I'll be interested to see what Washington does defensively to eliminate the run game.
Yeah.
Like, meaning, are they going to, play certain gap techniques? Are they going to bring certain blitzes? Are they going to – because what's going to happen
Are they going to just absolutely force McCarthy to throw the ball?
That's, yeah.
We're going to put eight in the box.
Lock in the box.
And just say you're not going to run the football.
Yeah.
You beat us with your arm. And then – but what's scary about that is, and why I think the game could get out of hand late, is if they do that and Michigan still has success. And when I say success, I don't mean – like, I think a lot of people who, I mean, not necessarily us, but 3 yards on the ground is a success.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 2nd and 7 is a lot better than 2nd and 11 or 10 or whatever. Right. And so if you're getting consistently 3 yards, because you get 3 more, well, now it's 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
If they can do that, Michigan's going to start doing play action. They're going to start running boot.
Well, it opens the whole, yeah.
They're going to start.
It seems like
the
more
whole
plays are going to be open for Michigan, in my opinion, than Washington. Like, I feel like Michigan, how they play, they're going to be able to dictate the game a little bit more. Now, the best thing that could happen for Washington is if they start real fast and get up,
quick
2 possessions within the first quarter or something.
So if you're Washington, and you win the toss, are you taking the ball?
I bet they're taking the ball. I bet they got something pretty well scripted.
Last game of the season, can't hold anything back now.
I kind of like taking the ball. Just especially
when you have that kind of offense,
dude. And there's nothing worse than, like, we use it all the time as coaches. Like, oh, they want it. Like, they elected to receive. Like, I mean, they had an option. They said, yeah, we're going to take. We're probably going to go score.
We feel good about that.
And so, if you can elect to receive and then take the ball all the way down and score, and then you get to look over that sideline, it's like,
we're here
all day.
Yeah. Just getting started.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Washington, like we talked about last time, they do got 2 guys that are going to be playing on Sundays for sure that are lining up out wide. So, and they've obviously done a great job of not only scheming them open, but those guys are great contested catch guys too.
Yeah.
Like, I know Penix is throwing dimes, but they're making plays. And he trusts those guys. Like, I feel like they're going to do better at finding some ways to get one-on-one coverages that Alabama struggled with. Like, and not too often do you say like another team's got better overall playmakers than Alabama, because their wide receiver room over the last 5 or 6 years has been crazy, and same with the running backs and stuff. But I feel like that Washington's got the group that they could take advantage of some matchups. And it just, I don't know, it seems kind of like, I remember in 2019 when it was LSU Clemson. Mm-hmm. And it was like LSU was just the team of destiny, but Clemson was still the top dog because they were undefeated, and they had Trevor Lawrence and they had T. Higgins. They had E.T. and they had the championship pedigree. So it's like, is it the team of destiny? But both these teams honestly feel like teams of destiny. Like Michigan, with all that they've been through with Harbaugh and just the last couple of years, haven't made it. They've made it but gotten spanked. Like, what are we, they're kind of at that point. It's like they kind of feel like it's theirs. And then Washington's had this, like, they've been underdogs like 6 times, and they're still showing up and showing out.
They were a 4-point dog versus Texas.
They were a 10-point dog against Oregon.
And I feel like that, like, the whole Harbaugh thing from Michigan is like their unifier. And I feel like Washington's doing it in the same way of like, no one respects us still. Like, we're playing with that chip on our shoulder because nobody respects what we've been able to accomplish all year. You know what I mean? So, dude.
Well, and I think too, it's going to be. Now, this is an interesting question. If it comes down to, like, okay, think about, and people are probably going to get sick and tired of me talking about Ohio State, but think about the Ohio State-Georgia game last year, though. Stay with me. C.J. Stroud, how he performed in that game, boosted his stock. Now, there was a lot of, I don't want to say crap that came out about CJ, which you remember you were like saying to me that CJ, is not scoring well, or what do you think about that? And I'm like,
oh yeah, I remember I called you. I was like, what's the deal with that?
What's the deal with this? I'm like, turn the tape on.
Yeah.
Like, what he's doing versus Georgia is whatever, but that
Which
boosted
that
his
defense was
unreal.
Yeah.
And it boosted his stock. So here's my question. If Penix comes out and has one of those games where he just
Dials
it in and takes
first rounder for sure.
Not just first rounder, can he jump
like
to
top 10.
a top 2?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think with the injury history and
The age.
the age is what's holding him back. But
Which understandably so.
yeah,
And this goes back to what we've talked about in the past though.
Does that make it better for the Falcons?
Is the society
second round. Cop.
of where we're at with college football. Like if you have any type of production in college football at the quarterback position, people automatically start talking about like you should be a first rounder and this, that, and the other. But evaluating quarterback position has got to be one of the hardest things to do in sports because no one gets it right. Like look at the Jets. Look at what the situation the Falcons are in. Like there's so many teams that are like dying for a quarterback. It's the hardest position to do in sports. It just is. Like I think hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do, but position wise, being a quarterback at the NFL is like
mentally the toughest.
It's
There was like a clip that came out, like I don't know if it's from Hard Knocks or what, but like a cam on Tua's helmet of like him dropping back in the pocket, and I just saw everybody quote tweeting. They're like, "All right, I know we give these dudes a lot of crap, but bro, you can't see any like
You really can't see anything.
yeah, like at all."
You're throwing it to an open space, hoping that your guy's supposed to be where he's supposed to
Correct.
be when he's supposed to be there.
And that's
But
why
I will
refs
say,
people
matter.
trying to hit
say, Macen high school career 1-for-1. Tug was it 1-for-1?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll get into that. But
This guy knows ball.
He does know ball.
yeah.
Put him in the pocket.
So my quarterback story. So I would always tell our head coach in high school that if I was skinnier, that I would be the best quarterback that we had available.
I'd be D1.
Yeah, and he was like, "No, you're not. No, you're not." Well, then we would do like little games during the off season. We'd play like scrimmages and stuff like that, where they would let me play quarterback, and I would throw versus our number one defense and just dice them up.
Bless you.
And I would be doing dumb stuff. Like I was throwing balls that really were covered, but it was kind of like I can throw it harder than they can probably catch it, or it's going to get like just stupid, like ignorant stuff. And so going into my senior year, he was like, "I'll make you a deal. If we get up on a team," he's like, "I think we're going to do it on this one team. We were really good. Then I'll let you play quarterback." He's like, "But we're not going to do anything crazy. You're just going to,
Hand it.
yeah, maybe
Give it
like,
to Kenyon.
yeah, maybe throw a slant, something like that."
Give it to our running back that's going to Bama.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
you'll look real good.
yeah. And so we played North Forsyth, and we get up, probably 28 within the first quarter, like early. They were not very good, and we were blowing them out, and Kenyon was having a field day.
Yeah.
And so anyways, Coach Ironside, like in the middle of the drive, pulls his son, who was the quarterback, out and tells me to go to quarterback. And so what's funny about that, we had some offensive line injuries. So I played all 5 positions on the offensive line during that game and quarterback. And when they interviewed me in the newspaper, they were like, "Did you play 6 positions tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so what happened was I was 1 for 2. I'm not 1 for 1.
Dude, 1,000.
I know.
Nice, bro.
First play, they called a slant, the outside linebacker. I looked him dead in the eyes and he looked scared. And I was like, "I'll throw it. He probably won't catch it." And I threw it right at his head. And it went through his hands, and then my buddy who was running the slant didn't think it was going to get there, and hit him in the hands, and he dropped it.
You always trust the ball.
Yeah.
Come on. It's going to be there. It's going to be there.
Next play, we run a tight end corner. Well, our tight end at the time happened to be Evan Ingram.
Yeah. So you're looking at a couple Sunday players on this team, dude.
So
I could have played quarterback.
dude, and Evan runs this corner route. And a post corner, he sells the post or whatever. Well, I take the snap, and when I tell you that the game speed is so much faster, like obviously, as you know, it's just like you can't see anything. And I was 6 foot in high school. And so I dropped back or whatever, and I'll never forget, like I felt like the right tackle was getting on me like quick, like real quick. Kenyon was actually open on the play, and he gives me crap about it. He was wide open on a swing route. I could have just hit the check down. He would have scored, but no.
Probably walked in the end zone.
There's nobody there. And the safety was looking right at me, and Evan, as soon as he hit the post, I gave him a little, "Heh."
How you dying?
And he took a step, and then the offensive line was so close to me, I couldn't see anything. and I just threw it. Like I remember literally not even thinking, just throwing it.
Trust the instinct.
And in my head, I was like, it's going to be incomplete. I'm going to have to go back to playing left tackle.
I'm back on the line.
But I remember when it came off my hand, it was like a perfect spiral. It was like a movie type situation.
Left it hanging.
Dude, I literally like throw it. I'm like,
video of this.
I do have video.
Yeah, there's a video.
Never seen the video.
I'll put it up on the screen. But they, what happens is, I thought it was going to be incomplete. Well, then all of a sudden, you hear the crowd like roar, and I was like, "Did he catch that?" And then I hear the
what just happened?
Then I hear the
Touchdown,
then I hear the whistle, and I heard touchdown Hillgrove, and I was like,
one.
"Oh my gosh!" And so yeah, I threw a 25
It was like
or
it wasn't
26
like,
it was a
yard
dime.
bomb.
Yeah, it was like some yards. I mean, it was a drop.
No, yeah. When I show you,
Well, just a little dump off.
Yeah.
No.
I wouldn't be talking about it as much if he dumped it off the Kenyon
And like Kenyon did
again,
the
a
rest.
Sunday running back.
No, but yeah, dude, that was the
Let him
funniest
score.
like thing too, because I got interviewed with the paper, and then they did me dirty because when they put it out in the paper, they put my like program weight, which was like probably 15, 20 pounds higher than what I actually was. So it was like 6 foot, 278 pounds.
Well, you know, as an offensive lineman, they're going to pat the stats on the weight a little bit.
I was
make it seem
like,
you're a big
oh
boy.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like throws touchdown. But what's even funnier about this story is, so obviously we go to Georgia Southern, and we're talking to one of our buddies who plays on Southern, and he went to North Forsyth. And I was like, oh, dude, did you guys play? I was like, didn't y'all play Hillgrove when they had Kenyon Drake? And he was like, yeah, man. He goes, and then you're not going to believe this.
Some fat dude.
offensive
That's what he said. He goes, some fat offensive lineman threw a touchdown against us. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was
You
like,
don't
y'all-
say.
I was like, y'all must have been garbage. And he was like, I mean, we
weren't
weren't
great.
that bad, but like, it was just embarrassing. Here, you can show him the video. And he
watch this shit.
he was like, yeah, like we could not believe. He's like, our coaching staff was going crazy when he went back to quarterback. Like we thought it was a joke. Like it was the most embarrassing thing
Hey, bro.
to
Let me see it.
Bro.
no feet.
There's nothing like seeing someone drop back in the pocket wearing 59.
Dude, I'm
When
telling
you
you.
turn, because it's from the side, and then you turn around, you see that 5'9".
Dude,
you know
what's funny is like we would
say,
send our film to like people to analyze it or whatever, and then they commented on my quarterback play. They were like, "Good ball, bad feet," because my feet are dead. 'Cause I'm just
I've
like,
got to see this.
yo.
it's a dime though.
I mean, yeah, it was nice ball.
Yeah,
I don't know about perfect spiral. I don't know is my choice of words.
did it duck?
Oh, duck and a half.
For real?
Put you on blast like
Dude,
that.
my favorite is the ready
It's-
position. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
you're
when he's
still
down.
offensive lineman.
Yeah,
No, it's not a duck.
Yeah, the right
It's not
tackle
a
was
duck.
getting. I mean, yeah, Kenyon's
The
wide
camera.
open.
The
Kenyon's
camera's-
wide open.
It's an old camera.
no,
But,
no.
I mean, so is Evan. Low
but-
key.
Yeah, Evan was like,
But that's what I'm
it was
saying
in
though.
stride.
When it came off my finger,
It felt nice.
I could not see it once
Yeah.
it passed the offensive line. So it very well could have ducked. I'm not saying I'm a 5-star. I just got done playing left tackle. I had to take off my
and
gloves.
right tackle and center.
And center.
That's gold. That's absolute gold.
Yeah. So back to your point, they get on you pretty quick. Like it's funny, but yeah, when I was when I was still coaching at Hillgrove,
funny.
we would throw Skelly or 7-on-7. And there's actually a guy going into the league now. He's coming out of Tennessee. His name's Tank. So Tank, if you hear this, brother, I'm putting you on blast. Tank was trying to cover a post and he was late. And I'm running with scout team guys. I mean, I'm running with basically like the mean machine longest yard crew out there. And this guy's running a skinny post, and Tank is coming on the backside, who has the most starts in Tennessee football history. And he's running late, and he just thinks I'm not going to throw it. And I throw a dart, probably like just right over the middle late. Like the coach had to like duck out of the way. And the kid caught it or whatever. And so the kid was going crazy as a freshman. And Tank comes up to me after, and he's like, I'll be honest with you, bro. Didn't think you was going to throw that ball. I'm like, I know. That's why you got caught slipping.
Caught sleeping.
Caught sleeping in the backfield. But yeah, man,
Playing quarterback ain't a joke.
no, it's not a joke. You got to know what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Yeah.
and hope they're doing the right thing.
Your team and their team. You got to be able
Yeah.
to process what they're doing, what they show pre-snap,
Yes.
what they show post-snap,
Absolutely.
blitzers that are unaccounted. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes into it, man.
Dang,
But-
that ball did duck at the end.
If it ducked at the end, it ducked in the beginning.
If
it's a duck, it's a duck.
That big
Hey,
wing
but,
gust
hey,
came at the
Hey,
end.
Peyton at the end of his career was throwing ducks, but then things was on time.
Super Bowl.
Hall of Fame.
Maybe the right tackle or the defensive end got a hand on it. That ball's in the corner though, boys.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying.
it's
It's in stride. It's in stride.
He didn't have to reach for it or nothing like that.
But yeah, I guess so. Just to finish up with just some predictions for
The title game.
yeah, for the game being played in Houston. Oh, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to say Michigan 31, Washington 28.
That's a good score. Mine's close to that. I got 34-31 Michigan. I don't want to pick Michigan.
I know
I've
that's
picked,
what my heart.
I have picked-
I just can't.
I have picked against Michigan
all year.
yeah. Literally every
matter
single
who they're
game.
playing.
Give me the Huskies, bro.
Yeah.
Give me the Huskies.
Yeah.
Give me
Young
the. I'm riding the Penix.
And I want Penix
Put them
to
in a
prove me
Falcons
wrong. I
jersey.
do.
Put
I
them in
want
a
him to prove me
Falcons
wrong.
jersey next year.
Actually, you know what, man? I'm flipping my
There he is.
I'm
There he
flipping my
is. Come
score.
on, you can't pick Michigan.
And I'm going up more. I'm going up more.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick to my prediction that but can they score 40 on them?
That's what I was on. The score is what I'm struggling with.
I'm gonna
but
say 42-34.
I'm gonna say
Washington.
I'm gonna say give me the Huskies, Michigan to cover. Or okay, I
can't-
take that
yeah.
back. Yeah, I take that back. I
Bad
was just thinking
betting
about
advice.
I was just thinking about that 4.5. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a 3-point game.
So
With Washington winning.
37 or what it 38, 42-38? Is that possible?
Yeah. I'm thinking like I don't know, give me like 38, 35 or something, 38, 34 or something like that.
Close to my 40 number.
Washington.
What the Huskies.
Yeah.
And Penix we trust, but it just comes down to is he making those consistent deep ball?
I don't even know if it's necessarily about him. I think defensively he's going to be.
but
their
they
biggest
live and
challenge.
die by that his accuracy in him
Yeah.
and those wideouts.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll
And
say
who-
it's on him in the wideouts. If they can get some space, yards after the catch would be huge. But if he's making those, I mean, again, they have to make the contested catches, and he's got to put it to where they can make the contested catches.
Yeah, I think if they can give him enough time, I think he's going to dice him up pretty good. But I mean, that front seven versus you just never know.
Washington with a chip on their shoulder, bro.
Yeah,
It's worked all
I'm
year.
with you.
It's worked all year.
That's what I'm saying. Both teams like feel like they have the
It
right.
should be their year.
Or they
should
have
be
like
theirs.
that little piece of motivation.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully when we come back.
Give me the dogs, though.
Hopefully we come back. A lot of stuff we talked about's true. And
Yeah,
all.
in comparison to last time.
Yeah.
So
I think I learned from my mistake last time. I was picking more with my heart and not my brain.
That's what I
So-
just did.
I'm picking with my brain.
and I just flipped.
That's what I just did. Mitchell's flipping.
Mitchell got me to flip. Mitchell's like, yeah, but why would you pick Michigan? I'm like, you're right.
Yeah,
Give me the
yeah. What do we
Huskies.
got? Huskies. Huskies behind 90.
All right. Well, till next time.
You're-
Appreciate you.
You're